It's great to just read anyone's soul, really, and make a non-conventional play. A hand you should, if you were a computer, you should probably fold or whatever. Maybe it's not high enough in your range, but if you just know, you know.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Poker Central Podcast, episode 152, as I'm joined by my favorite co-hosts, but also one of the most annoying people that I've ever encountered, Brent Hanks. And then, in the corner over there, the guest of the show, a rapper who goes by the name of Progress. He was the first online poker superstar as far as my memory goes back, and to some, he's probably still better known as Mahatma, or Spirit Rock, or Prefontaine. He was the most affected, sadly, by the Ultimate Bet cheating scandal. He is a World Poker Tour champion, and he recently made the final table of the 10K Deuce, first live cash in quite a few years. And then also, he is the one and the only man who will always steal your blinds and antes, even if you forget to post them. Prahlad Friedman, welcome to the show.
Still hasn't faded. It's 2019.
No, there it is.
The anti-jokes are still around.
What an intro, too, huh? This guy.
That was a good intro.
Incredible stuff, Remko.
It's
I
the
like it.
It's
Thank
the best
you
I
so
have.
much.
Very good.
Yeah,
I'm working on my intros.
Really good.
For everybody watching this show, you are aware this is now on PokerGO. But if you are listening to this and it's coming at you through your phone, through your podcast feed, please also know that this is now on PokerGO every single week. So come on and subscribe. Use the promo code podcast to take $10 off the annual subscription and watch this show every single week. That's the only way to know that Brent Hanks and Prahlad Friedman coordinated outfits today.
I mean, who can shill it better than this guy already with the PokerGO plugs? Just jump right into it. Anything else you want to get out of there? Mayonnaise?
I'm a professional, Brent Hanks, a professional.
Okay, fair enough. Let's go.
Yeah. So I was saying, you guys are coordinated for the champion branding.
Well, Prahlad has a deal with Champion, which he'll, I guess, tell us a little bit about.
It's a very small deal.
Yeah.
At this point, it's free hoodies.
That is the perfect deal, man. Like,
But I love the hoodie anyway. So, hey, keep sending free hoodies my way and add a little cash on there, and I think it'll be all right.
Diaper money.
Check that front pouch every time you get a new one. You never know if there's going to be a brick in there or something. But
eventually there probably will be if I can make final tables and stuff like that. I'm sure they'll throw a little money my way. We'll see.
Exactly. Brent Hanks, before we started taping the show, you told me that you wanted to challenge Prahlad to something, and I highly questioned your ability, but you seemed very convinced.
I need 2 days of training. I got to get back into the gym. I'm a free throw shooter.
Oh.
Got a touch, Prahlad. I have a wonderful touch. Now, prop bet, I don't think so. I've seen your stuff. There's videos out there. I'm sure we're going to roll that in just a second. I mean, Jesus Christ, you broke Steve Nash's record.
I did. I saw him shoot like maybe 21 free throws in 1 minute, and then I went and did 23. I think 23. I could have got a lot more than that though, but the production wanted to stop. You know how that is.
One
They were
rebounder.
like, oh, that's good enough. One rebounder, one ball.
Yeah.
Free throws, and I like a little hop on my free throw.
Yeah, you move it
Like
up
a
little
little
bit.
boy.
Yeah. Your release was so quick though. That was what I thought was so impressive. Your hands are set and you just release. Catch.
I mean,
release.
I used to practice like 8 hours a day. Like,
Yeah, okay,
until
I
I was
can't-
dehydrated.
10 seconds. Keep going, keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh! That counts. That has to count.
23.
Were you practicing shooting free throws as like a way to hustle people in the future? Because were you just loving it so much?
No, I just grew up loving basketball, wanted to be in the NBA, and so I carried a basketball everywhere I went. I slept with a basketball. I heard that Magic Johnson and Larry Bird did that, so I slept with this like diseased ball. Like now I don't even have shoes in the house, so it's like I went from sleeping with like a concrete gasoline soaked ball every night to no shoes in the house.
So what happened to the NBA dream? Did you play collegiate ball?
I got offers. I got about 30 letters maybe out of high school. In high school, I averaged about 9 points, 9 assists, and I played for a team that was really good, and all the guys around me were dunking, and I was throwing alley-oops and behind-the-back passes. It was amazing. But then I decided to run. I kind of wish I would have like followed up on basketball because, I mean, I did it my whole life. But I got tired of the politics of basketball. Like if you're with one coach, he thinks you're great, you play the whole game. You know, you hardly rest. And then another coach might sit you the whole time. When I was like a freshman, I sat on the bench. When I was a sophomore, I sat on the bench. When I was a junior, I didn't even make – I was too old for junior varsity, and then I was the varsity coach didn't want me, so I just trained. My whole junior year. And then senior year, I went to Seattle. I lived with my mom, and then I was like the starting point guard for a much better team than what I got cut for. That was pretty amazing. But then I ended up running track and cross country, and that was fun. I ran the steeplechase. You guys heard of the steeplechase?
Absolutely.
What is that? I need to know what a steeple. It sounds like a
that's
church thing.
That's where if you trip, you either hit water or concrete.
Yeah. The barriers are all wooden, and they're very high, and they don't knock over. So if you mess up, you might break your leg or like.
Eat it.
And then once every lap, there's a wooden barrier that you hoist yourself off of, and you land in a water pit. And the whole thing is 3,000 meters. It's like 2 miles.
People do this for a living?
They do, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's at the Olympics.
It's like it's at the
intense.
Olympics. I didn't know that. Yeah.
The shoes that they wear have holes in them, so it like drains the water as they run.
No
wow,
shit.
I didn't know that. How good were you? Were you doing national?
I made like a Washington and Oregon like championships, and I got 10th out of 12 people. But just to make that was good for me. I ran a 10:08 for 3,000 meters, so it's like a pretty good time. Like, but I probably, I wasn't going to take that time and start getting sponsored and be a professional runner. But I was doing okay for community college, and it started out just training for basketball running, and then it turned into like I kind of liked it.
And you're still working. I mean, we said you're 41 years
41.
old now, and you're still working out all the time, in great shape.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a vegan for like 15 years, vegetarian my whole life. I'm raising my daughter. I have my daughter's about to be 1. Little Zaylee, I love you.
Happy birthday,
Yeah.
Zaylee. Coming
Happy
up the
birthday.
28th.
And raising her vegan, and it's been going great. She's going very well. She just eats all the steamed vegetables. And actually, her mom, Ida, love you too. We have learned to love steamed vegetables with nothing on them.
Really?
You don't appreciate it, but you feed it to your daughter, you're like, oh, I don't need to put salt and all that stuff on it. They're too young. And so just like broccoli, steamed broccoli or steamed carrots, it's actually has a taste to it.
Wow. I have to put cheddar cheese on mine, just drizzle it over there. And
If you try it for a while, your taste buds adapt, and you start to like taste the little flavors in the vegetables. So
I'm a big time grill and oven guy. Definitely love my vegetables, but the plain steam is not something that I've really gotten into. Maybe that's the secret to unlocking my full potential at some point.
it's pretty
But you
remarkable.
don't have kids, right?
I don't have kids now.
Well, when you have a kid, then maybe you would try it, because like they don't need, I think they don't really want anything on it at the beginning. So then you want to eat it to show them that it's like, it's good, Because if you're not eating it, they're gonna be like, ah. But once they see mommy and daddy eating it, they're like, she just eats it all up.
Aside from our hoodies and our remarkable good looks,
Yeah.
Prahlad and I don't have a lot in common as far as the diet thing is concerned. For Father's Day, which, by the way, happy Father's Day.
Yeah, you too.
I got a smoker. So day one, I set the whole thing up. My wife got me a smoker, and I went right to the butcher.
Yeah.
This might make you sick, and I do apologize, but I
okay.
smoked my meats.
Yeah.
And oh God, was it good? But my kids, it was just like the same thing. You're talking about your daughter. Look how yummy this is.
Yeah.
I was doing the same thing with meat.
Wow.
Dry rub. I was like, look how good this is. And they loved it, and they really did.
I mean,
So it is true, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I'm just a meat eater, and you're a vegan. But
Yeah, I mean, there's like 97% of you and 3% of me.
clearly, it shows.
You're in the majority.
I mean, Brent's chiseled body is a good advertisement for
Yeah.
turning vegan. If you look at Prahlad's
Yeah.
Instagram, he's ripped and 41.
I might want to go vegan.
I mean, Brent, there's so many lifestyle choices you have to reconsider at this point. That vegan is not even at the top of the list.
Okay.
There's so
Fair
many
enough.
things you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Let's go back in
Just
time.
5% less meat.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't know if I can do 5. 5% is a lot.
Shave a
man.
little 5.
Oh my God! I'm gonna have 5 pieces of tip when I get home. Anyway,
Let's go back in time a little bit to your like college days, because we have so many stories about you in online poker, and we'll get to all those, but we never really heard the story of how you discovered it in the first place, because you were up there and early and young as well to discover online poker. Were you like a big time game player? Were you a board game fanatic? Like, how did you even discover poker?
Just discover online poker or just poker?
Just poker in general, yeah.
It all started with my dad winning in a low ball tournament. I think it was ace to 5 single draw. I think maybe that's the one where you like can't check a 7 or something, something crazy. Like there's a lot of old guys that play it like at Commerce or whatever. And he won it for 11,000, and this was a long time ago. I mean, this is like 22 years ago or something, 23 years ago. So 11,000 for was like a big tournament. It was like, wow, he really took something down there. And so I was like, you got to teach me. At one point, I just said, what is this? What? I didn't even know you played like that much poker. And so he, instead of teaching me low ball, because it wasn't like not that many people played it, he just actually showed me limit hold'em. And he had a couple of books, those books, Skalansky.
Ray Z.
Yeah.
So we can credit Sklansky for your success.
Partially.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's.
But it's a starting point, right? Because
it's a percentage.
Yeah.
I read that first book, Limit Hold'em for Advanced Players. That was a good book. Yeah, definitely a good book. And
do we have it here?
I'm looking at our book collection.
We have so many books here.
We probably have it. I should have it autographed. I should have been prepared.
That's an old school book. Yeah, that really that book helped me to learn a lot. And then I went and got like 8 more books right away. And I just read them all. I just stacked them up, read them all. And then I started sneaking in with my dad because I wasn't even 21 yet. I'd wear like a hat and kind of walk behind him. And I started going by John Q. Actually, some people out there might be like, "Oh yeah, John Q."
Now, what age are you when you're John Q?
John Q was like 19, 20.
Oh my God!
I mean, even
Q.
like this guy, first of all, is amazing at picking online screen names. Some of the most iconic online screen names, and he goes by fucking John Q. Go playing
Denzel
underage.
Washington. They
What
made a movie
exactly
about
did
that.
the Q stand for?
I don't know, but I had
You
seen
rolled with
other
it.
people do it, like
Yeah.
just create a name because they're like in the poker room, and even some like businessmen or political people would like come up with a name because they don't want to be like associated with gambling or whatever. So I was like, I'm just gonna do it for fun.
You
and
look
plus,
like a
and plus I
John-
wasn't like 21 or something. I don't know. I just was like, I'm John Q. And so like for years, everyone knew me as John Q.
I mean, it's like there's no home Jerome, and then there's John Q. Like the 2 underage guys trying to make it big.
John Quincy Friedman. I'm gonna go with that. There was a full name, so you were just referencing the middle initial.
That's right.
That's your real name.
That's
It's
right.
John Quincy Friedman. That's interesting.
But it's also fascinating because this is at a time when poker is not nearly popular at all. Like we're way before that, all that stuff goes down and poker gets crazy. So, think about 2003 and 4, when we first sort of got to know poker, it was a lot of old guys. But back then it must have been even older. So you must have been, by like a 30-year margin, the youngest kid in the poker room.
Yeah, I was like one of the young guns. Yeah, I was. It was exciting to talk to the older players that had like been making a living for 20, 30 years and have kids. I was just like discovering like this is really a career. Like it just seems like a fun game, and but I talked to these, I befriended a lot of these guys, and they shared their stories of how they've made it and how they've continued to make money, and then they share their insights, how to play the game from the different positions or different strategies, different places to play. And I was always just like a sponge, like credit to my parents for reading to me when I was young and all that. And so I soak up all the information, whatever I'm interested in, and that's how I did it in poker.
Given how few or how little information was out there, training sites and all this sort of stuff.
Totally different back then.
Totally different, right? There's some books, but the books weren't even, they were more about the numbers and like, learning how the basics and stuff work. Given how quickly you ascended to the highest stakes, would you consider yourself one of the most talented poker players ever, given how you developed from basically 0 to 100 in such a short span?
Ooh, that's a big question. To answer. I mean, I'd like to think that I do have some talent, but I just think that talent, any talent in the world in any aspect is just developed through hard work, honestly. I mean, some people, they play baseball for the first time and hit a home run, but you know what? That's probably because they trained like in another sport and that like helped them with baseball or whatever. I just think hard work is really like the number one thing, 10,000 hours in anything you do.
Typically, if you're the greatest at it, you're probably outworking everyone else to get to that spot.
LeBron, Kobe, those guys, Jordan, I mean, they would work all summer. They probably wouldn't party like some of the other guys. And then that's a testament to how great they are at just all that hard work. And I think that's what I did. I mean, I read every book I could. While some of the books back then weren't even that good, I remember reading some crazy books, saying some crazy stuff. But yeah, just hard work, practicing, and just really like when like just trying hard. Like,
But there's a special talent though, because in the early days of online poker, there was like one name that everyone knew. It was Prahlad Friedman. Whatever name it was under, they all knew you. And I was Googling your name, and I found old forum posts from 2005 and 2004, and they're saying, like, is this guy even real? Is Spirit Rock cheating? Like he never loses, he always wins. What gave you the edge? Because there must be something.
I used to experiment a lot with different strategies, I think, and maybe other players took more conventional routes of betting 66% of the pot and whatnot on every street or whatever. And I just started under betting, over betting, and it's pretty interesting when you look at like the solvers nowadays. That's exactly what they do.
Yeah.
And I was doing that a long time ago, and it's pretty interesting when I look at some of the solver stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a play I thought of a long time ago. Just betting big here, with some of your bad hands and throw in some good hands. I used to just mix it up so much that I would find the best strategy versus my opponent. And then as soon as I kind of adapted to that, I used to even change screen names. You listed some of them. And then when I had a new screen name, I would develop like a whole new strategy.
Wow.
So that people wouldn't know it was me. Because that was like in the Wild Wild West where like everyone,
That's awesome.
everyone had so many different accounts.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, it was like, okay, that's like unethical. And so then it was like one account. I was like just Prefontaine or whatever. But back then, a lot of people did that. So I would come on, I would start re-raising to bigger amounts with my new screen name consistently. But people would always figure it out eventually. They'd be like, that's the guy that plays anyone. So I used to sometimes at the beginning refuse a couple people just to like make it look like I'm not all comers.
That's
like,
amazing.
I remember so vividly, I would come home. I used to be a school teacher, and I'd get done. I'd come home. I'd pull up Ultimate Bet and all these sites, and I would just look for Mahatma, just sitting at tables waiting for action. And then I'd be so excited when someone would step up, and I would just sit back and just watch. And I would just watch you guys play. It was so fun.
I miss just like waking up in my underwear and just getting on there and playing a big game and just taking on all comers, whether it was Phil Ivey or Doyle Brunson or just like Durr, anybody. I used to there was quite a time where I would literally play anyone, and that's how I got cheated for so much, because I would never refuse anybody. I didn't care who they were. I was just like, I'm gonna play you. I'm gonna figure it out.
With that all being said, with the Phil Ivies out there, with the Durrs, the Jungles, whoever else was out there you're playing, did you also take some time to step away, not play, and just observe and watch these guys so you could learn how best to perform against them?
Oh, definitely. I've always been kind of a poker nerd, and sometimes when I'm not playing poker myself, I might just be watching a game on PokerGo like now, or back then online. I might be sitting and watching Full Tilt and trying to guess people's hole cards. I think poker is tough, and I've always tried to stay on top of my game, studying, and trying to get better and better and better. And I think I'm still doing that today.
What's your best game?
My best game? I don't know, maybe deuce to 7. Yeah. Usually when people add their own game, we've been doing that in LA, I'll add deuce to 7. But
no limit, right?
No limit.
Single draw.
Single draw. And I've tried to like play a lot of people, but not that many people will play me in it. I can't really get anybody to play me.
We need to get you out here for Dolly's game when we run, the stuff that Doyle puts together.
I wanted to be on that show so bad, but I never got the invite.
I'll get your number. I've been texting a number. It's not you. I've been texting Prahlad Friedman on my phone. It's got to be. It's got to be, because we were trying to get a hold of you for the show, last week, and I was like, Jesus, I gotta imagine he'd want to do this, or at least play on Poker After Dark. Yeah, I've got an old number. But either way, what the hell was I getting at? So deuce to 7, you mentioned that being your best game.
I think so.
Observing that from a fan's perspective, I was telling Remko, I was so entertained.
Oh my God!
Amazing. Your table talk is just always on point. The way you mixed it up with Musso there, Jesus Christ, that was awesome.
Typical Prahlad.
Yeah,
getting
just
into
so
it
good.
with
But Musso also, man, I think he probably does some shit that maybe is out of line.
He's old school.
Allegedly.
And I'm not stupid. That's just the thing. Like I let it go so many times.
Yeah.
And then when it happened, when he raised out of turn for the 3rd or 4th time,
right?
And he always had a medium hand.
Yeah.
It was always. And if I was actually a little smarter, I would have just raised anyway. I had a couple hands that I should have just had more confidence that he's doing that just to.
Yeah.
And I should have raised anyway. But I had a couple tweeners, and then I would like fold. he did punk me. He used his tactics. I should have actually been smarter and just raised
One-upped
anyway,
him.
but then still called the floor and said, check this out. But at the time, I should have. Yeah, I kind of let him punk me on that a little bit.
But it was also just so. I mean, that hand against Darren Elias.
Oh my God.
We're gonna roll this too. But when you picked him off with the
that
fours,
was awesome. I love that. Doesn't snow in Vegas that often.
Oh, that's not what Darren Elias
driving
wants
over
to
here
do.
on the hills. I saw a little white. I saw a little bit of white driving over.
And never mind the chips. The statement that this call would make would be huge.
Oh! Wow, and how do you feel if you're Darren Elias and you just get looked up by 2 4s?
holy shit! And you're lying too. It doesn't snow often in Vegas, or something to that tune.
But wait. I mean, that's what I want to ask you about, because I know you. I've seen you on TV a bunch of times. Are you really sitting there in the moment saying like, okay, if I say this and then call and I'm right, this is going to go everywhere?
No, I'm not thinking that. It's like I just felt like I was in a cash game.
Yeah.
And I felt like the way I was playing, I was kind of like a cash game. I mean, I'm not like fully studied on the ICM charts and everything. I have an idea of it and everything, but I was almost playing like a cash game, and I felt comfortable in the moment, and I was just talking. I was just trying to see his reaction to how I'm talking. And, if you're sitting there snowing and a guy, usually when you're snowing, you hope the guy just has no idea the snow might come. That's the most beautiful thing. They look at their cards, they see if they get there. They're like,
write them up.
So
Yeah.
they'll fold all those like Jack 10 queen type of stuff, pair of deuces, things like that. But then when a guy sits there and is like, and John Hennigan's done this to me so many times. He's like the master snow catcher. And he'll just sit there and just start, and then you're like, oh, he knows I'm snowing. So I just wanted to like let him know that I realize you might be snowing. And so the whole speech and everything, I'm kind of observing him, feeling the situation out. I think I knew it was a snow for some reason. I mean, I sometimes I'm wrong on these reads, but in that moment, I just like, I wish I could have bet more money with someone that it was a snow. I really did. I just like, I felt it because I had been over betting a lot. And so I felt like if he had a big hand, it makes more sense to me for him to check. I might bet 2-3x on a bluff. So if he has a big hand, like a 9, I think he would check to me. I might even have a 10 draw, like drawing dead, and then I might pair up.
He might
bet.
only take that line with like an 8 or a 7, right?
Yeah, and I just thought even those hands he would check to me because I had made a couple overbets. So I just think if a guy's overbetting a lot and you have a big hand, it seems like it's not a bad idea to check to the guy. So that was a big thing I was thinking about. I was like, if he had a big hand, he would check.
But it's a beautiful thing how the speech is usually paired with the right decision. Like Negreanu did the opposite. He always says, I know I'm beat, but I'm calling anyway. You're given the speech, and then you're right, which just, is like a combination that you don't see that often, because some people usually, when they're making a hero call, they're very quiet about it, because if it does backfire, they don't look as bad. But if you give the snow speech and then you're wrong, then people are like, oh, this guy, what is he doing?
How dead did Darren feel, too? As soon as you said something, he just knows in his head, he's fucking called. Like,
I wish I would have caught a 10, honestly, because I would have still called.
That's so sick.
Because it's a pair of 10s beats a standard snow.
Right.
And I think with Darren, he's more like a GTO-ish a little bit. Like he has an old school live thing, but he still has some of the new school stuff. And so I felt like the more younger GTO-ish type of players, their bluffs are going to be more with blockers and whatnot. There might be some old school players that turn jacks into bluff, have an ace in their hand, some weird shit, but I just thought him being more of a conventional bluff with certain blockers and whatnot. So one pair should always beat a snow by a conventional snow.
Good. I'm learning here right on the podcast. I love it. For people who have not watched the full final table and you just saw a little bit of the clip of the hand that Prahlad played, go to PokerGO right now. Check the on-demand section in the event replays. You can watch the entire final table that also features Jean-Robert Ballon. It's an incredible final table, highly worth rewatching. That was very entertaining. I do want to go back a little bit though to the online cheating you mentioned. How you just played everyone and anyone, no matter the stakes of the game. You were just always waiting in the lobby. Was it sort of the king of the hill approach where you were like, I'm at the top now, I want to stay here, and if I want to stay here, I need to just face everyone?
I just maybe there was some competitive nature there, some ego there even, which probably was detrimental to me in the end, having too much ego. But yeah, I just, I grew up playing basketball, being very competitive. So now it's poker. It's like, okay, I didn't make it in basketball. I didn't go to the NBA. So let me be the man in poker. Let me just play everyone. Let me, I just wanted to be the best in the world, and it was important to me. And I thought the only way to prove it is just to play everyone. And I thought I would earn more money that way. I did think I was the best in the world. And so
for how long did you think you were? Was there like a stretch?
Once like some of the like Ike and Jungleman, those guys like were some of the first guys to pick me off. And I thought I was better than them for a while. And then I guess they kind of just proved to me that they're probably better than me. I don't know. They probably got a hold of some solvers way even back then, or they just had the number. They're just so smart. They figured it all out themselves. Maybe some things they were doing were beating me. And so then I had to kind of check my ego a little bit. And so I had to stop playing. There was a certain point. Yeah, it was like a sad day. I was like, okay, I'm not going to play all comers anymore.
Wow.
But when you're trying to put food on the table, you gotta make those types of decisions for sure.
Yeah, especially, I mean, fast forward now, you've got a 1-year-old daughter about to happen. Family life, that changes a lot perspective. As far as a poker player is concerned, and if you want to compete at the highest stakes. Let me jump in.
One final thing on the online stuff, because what I'm very curious about is when you're in that mindset of taking on everyone, and then you face, Pot Ripper, the terrorist, the guys that were known as cheaters.
Yeah,
that must really take a blow to your confidence. And did you ever assume that something shady was going on in the process, or were you just maybe too proud to even consider that?
I had done well for so long, and I had taken my swings, up $1 million, down $1 million, like crazy swings. And so I just thought it was a downswing, just running bad. I just figured that's how it is, poker gods or whatever. Or maybe I'm not playing like my absolute best. But, when the Terror of Sweden would come every time and sit down with $6,643.20 and then always turn it into $130K and take all my chips, there were some times where I was starting to get a little bit nervous about that. And I think I stopped playing him at a certain point, but he picked me off for like a couple million.
That's crazy.
That's exactly where I was going, Remko.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to know that mindset from thinking you're the best and then just what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Man? It's
it really hurt. It really hurt me bad because I used to do all the overbetting and things that people didn't really know how to deal with. Yeah, then Jungle and Ike started dealing with it better. They would start maybe calling with middle pair, a big overbet or whatever. They had their ways of adjusting, but when you're being cheated, it's just like I totally changed my game. I stopped overbetting. I turned into a nit for a while. I was just like grinding, just playing very nitty style because no bluff ever worked, right? I'm being cheated. So, I mean, yeah, it just totally changed my game. And then it left me broke when Guy was playing on full tilt and lost a bunch of money.
Wow.
And everyone, the people that had the bankroll for that game just printed for a while, really. And so it kind of me getting cheated out of maybe 3 million probably honestly cost me quite a bit.
Yeah, and then missing
15,
that opportunity.
10,
yeah.
Something big.
Oh my God.
Something big.
Was it sort of helpful in rebuilding your confidence when you realized that you were getting cheated, and how long did it take for you to sort of get back? Because you were sort of off the face of the map for quite a while there. Was it a dark time, and how did you sort of come out of it?
I guess it's a dark time like any poker player goes through. It always seems to happen if you're winning, and you're just printing money. You just feel like you're on top of the world, and you're helping your friends out. You're splashing money. You're spending too much, and then all of a sudden, the black cloud comes, and you just can't win for a while. And so, it's just something all poker players go through. It's something I went through. It was pretty rough. But then when I found out I was getting a big refund, I was in Aruba. Phil Hellmuth told me, "Look, buddy, did you get the first round?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I got $60K back." I was like, "That was amazing. It was unbelievable." He was like, "Buddy, yeah, you're gonna get a lot more than that back."
Wow. How did that work out? Because for the people who are unaware, there were accounts on Ultimate Bet led by Russ Hamilton that could see the cards of the other players, Pot Ripper being the most famous account, and 2+2 helped in uncovering that through hand histories and people calling with 8 high and all sorts of weird shit happening. And then you turned out to be the sort of person that lost the most. You put the number 3 million out there. But then a few years later, they approached you and said, "Do you want to represent us? We got new management. We're doing things in a different way." And I'm assuming they promised to give you a lot of money back. What was that transition like? And do you feel like they sort of did what they had to in order to repay you?
Well, at the time, I thought it was new management, new ownership. I'm getting a huge refund. It honestly felt like life is good. When you get cheated, usually you don't get anything back. Like a lot of people have been cheated in private games or whatever. They never get $1 back. So I'm getting a huge amount back, new ownership, new management, and they're offering me a huge deal. And the other sites wouldn't offer me a penny. Like they wouldn't even, I couldn't get Red Pro status. I think they were afraid that I was going to be political or whatnot. So I just did it, and I got a lot of heat for it, especially from Daniel Negreanu or whatever. And, now that everything happened, I wish I wouldn't have done it.
But you still got money back probably because you wanted to represent them? Was that part of the deal? Or?
No. I was going to get the refund regardless.
Okay.
But don't worry, I lost I lost a tremendous amount of money. They said I would get 9% if I kept my money in there. And I kept I basically lost most of, it's embarrassing honestly, but I lost most of my refund playing on the site when it was, and I might have got cheated then. I honestly don't know. I mean, it was pretty dumb of me to get cheated, get the refund, then, I'm going to get 9% interest. Let me keep this milli on the site. Sure, let me just print money, right? But then I got to play because I'm representing them. I got to play. Let me play. Let me lose. Oh
my God!
And then before
roller
you know
coaster.
That's crazy.
You lose all that refunded money, and you might have got cheated again. I don't know. I really don't know.
Have you ever come face to face with Russ Hamilton?
No golfing?
No, I haven't. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. Who knows?
What the fuck happened?
I'm sure I'd say fuck you, or I'm sure I'd say something. I'm not gonna punch the guy or anything, but
I mean, he first of all, he still played World Series up to as recently as 2008, 2009, and I remember seeing him in the Rio once. Before I think he finally ultimately got banned from the World Series of Poker because of this whole thing, and he's the only banner that's not up in the Rio from any of the main event winners.
I don't focus on him though. He's not I don't have a dartboard. It's just a element of the world. Yeah. He's a bad element of the world. And there's so many bad elements all over. So I don't really focus on Russ. People are like, man, if I were you, I would have done something crazy to him or something.
But he never went to jail. Never served time. Nothing happened to him.
It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous.
That seems criminal.
If online poker was regulated and everything, he would be serving time right now. I mean, 60 million or whatever.
That's just mind blowing.
And nothing. As far as I know, nothing happened to him. So that's it is incredible, actually.
I mean, the guys from Full Tilt, they kind of went down, right? They had to pay the piper to an extent. But how does this guy get away scot-free? I can't really fathom how
it was also a different era. It was before Full Tilt even got big, this was already happening. That's how long ago this stuff is. UB was one of the first big sites. Absolute Poker, UB.
Of course.
That was when
it was the fastest software. It was everyone loved it, honestly. Yeah. I mean, it turned out to be horrible, obviously, but it was so fast. I used to play on the mini view. I don't know if you guys ever did the mini view.
I know what you're talking about.
Tiny little bar, and it had 1, 2, 3, 4 as the seats. And I would play 8 games of mini view, big games, and I just love that mini view.
Wow.
Because you could just move the mouse a little bit, and it would go right to the next game or whatever. And you could see all the positions. it clicked with my mind.
My good buddy Eric Baldwin was an Ultimate Bet pro.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys had a fucking school bus parked out in front of the Rio with all the faces on it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
It's definitely a different era of poker, and especially for fans who are getting into the game more recently, especially with PokerGO now providing so much content and you get to watch so much poker. The story of poker goes back so far that most new people don't even know about Paradise Poker and Planet Poker.
I played
and,
on those, yeah.
and back when Limit Hold'em was the only high stakes game, and you could reload as much as you want, playing Heads Up No Limit, and people were sitting with 1,000 big blind stacks everywhere. It was truly like the wild, wild west that you are sort of the captain of, if we think back at that whole era. Do you are you able to look back on it positively, even though so much shit came out of it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I honed a lot of skills that I still have today back then that I use today to win money. It was nice to be considered the best, because like now, I mean, you know, people sometimes say, oh yeah, he's the best, you know, but I don't know if I've like solidified a #1 spot right now, like in the poker community. But back then I kind of seemed like I was. For online poker, there was a stretch where I was #1. That felt nice. It felt nice. Yeah, even though I got cheated for a lot, I have a good attitude about it, I think. I mean, it doesn't drive me crazy.
So it didn't stew for, you know, decades and keep you. I mean, look, you're back. You obviously just final tabled your first cash fund since 2012, I think. Is it?
I guess so.
Is that the numbers
11,
are
12. Yeah.
You know, it's great seeing you in a really good spot. You know, in a good place right now.
I feel good. I finally learned all the games. Now I can play like almost every single game. I haven't played that much Archie, but I can play almost every game, limit or big bet. And so it's taken me a while for that, but I'm very grateful for that. Now I can go into the poker room, and if there's a player that wants to play something, you know, if I feel like it's a good spot, I can be like, well, what would you like to play or whatever. It's kind of nice.
In your position, you know, recovering from all the drama that we're now sort of moving past, was there a new sort of learning arc as it pertains to you staying in poker? Did you ever consider, like, maybe I can't do this anymore, maybe I have to, you know, get a different life? But, you know, if we follow you on Instagram, social media, you know, drive a nice car, live a nice life in LA, you know, things ultimately worked out. But like, did you ever consider like poker might not be your thing?
I mean, every time you run like super crazy bad, sometimes those thoughts enter your head, like, is this it? Are players too good? Am I like not good enough anymore? And you start to question yourself. But I usually just keep grinding, and then usually like I get the upswing, and then I'm like, okay, I'm the best.
I love it. Well, I guess we can kind of transition here into the music career. You know?
Definitely.
Speaking of which, something else that you've really tackled head first. You've got a new album, I guess, that's out. Take us through that. When did Progress start?
Progress. I've had that name, that rap name, for like 20 years. I've been making songs, playing them to my friends under Progress. And, you know, my friends like the songs and everything, but I used to be only like political, like good message in every song. No swearing. You know what I mean? I was just like
the vegan rapper.
Mommy and daddy's like little good child. And that was great. I mean, I made some amazing songs with some amazing messages, and I think a lot of my friends actually like listened to those songs and like had positive things happen to them. But then later, recently, and meeting my wife, Ida, I've started to mainstream it a little bit, just so like more people appreciate it or more people will listen to it. If you have like a political song, your friends will be like, that was cool. That was, you know, I like the beat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people just want to relax sometimes. Yeah. And while I am always like political and fighting for things I believe in, the music, I wanted to make it a little bit more chill, smoking weed, chilling with your girl, whatever, cruising down the street, going to a club.
That's my favorite part about the video. It's literally like starts off with you smoking a joint, and then it's just like
the good life,
and then it's just your wife's, you know, like ass just like bouncing around. It's like, okay, I can get into this.
Evoking good vibes from real to Venezuela. We hoping y'all high, we having dope times. Packing, puffing, walking, gymming, that's getting the body trim strengthened. Everything, then shout with a joint in hand. Ashtray to drain, we bump music from Oakland. Getting lifted, staying positive, creating songs.
I want to be Prahlad Friedman.
I mean, that's the whole message of Hazy
Yeah.
Eyes.
Are you a booty man?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I'm a booty man. However, but you fell in love with the face before the booty, if I remember that lyric correctly.
Wow. What a beast.
Right? See, I mean, I know.
He's reciting lyrics to one of the recent songs, Ducati Cati.
Ducati Cati. Now,
Yeah.
you're not necessarily a booty man. You're a face guy. Big into the face.
Face first, and booty second.
Booty is a big thing.
It is a big thing for sure.
No, but I've become a booty guy, yeah. But obviously face is and personality and all that.
Obviously, it's your wife.
But for
and
breasts
it's,
and booty,
yeah.
I would definitely take booty
Huh.
out of those two.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What I'm also curious about with regards to the music side, that creative energy that you have and that dedication to the craft of music, you're always putting stuff out. You're always sort of working on it. Is that just because you have to sort of get it out, or do you have aspirations of being in festivals and performing in that sense?
Well, I think my wife Ida has really inspired me to she really let me know that I have talent. She's trying to say and she helped me hone my game a little bit into something a little bit more modern. And we see ourselves as performing in Brazil, performing here. We performed once. It was great. There was a couple hundred people there.
Nice.
And there was a lot of poker players came, showed some love, and it was great. We plan on putting out another album, more videos just after this poker and after this summer. Expect to see some kind of video probably. Yeah, we want to do it. We want to do it big. Yeah, we love it. And people like our songs. It's just you got to get it out there. No one really knows about us, right? You have to start slow. And
it's funny too because whenever people think of Prahlad Friedman, the rapper, the Poker is Fun rap always comes up.
Yeah, it's not that good.
I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's iconic. It's an iconic part of poker history.
Everyone knows about it. Everywhere I go, poker is fun.
Poker is fun for everyone.
And you know what the very best thing about that is the little ball bouncing on the lyrics.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing.
Is fun for everyone except my opponents. They shoulda practiced avoidance.
If you love poker in any sort of way, you have watched the 06 main event. The Jamie Gold year is iconic.
The biggest one ever, right?
12 million
12 million
up top.
for first.
Insane.
I had a shot.
You had a great shot,
Yeah.
and also, I mean, I'm such a nerd. I get chills just talking about this because when I first got into poker, it was early 2006, so before the main event of 2006. I watched 03, 04, 05, and then 06 came out, and believe it or not, I played in a home game. It was a €20 Monday night game where the first three was cash prizes, but then 4, 5, 6 for the rest of the final table. They got DVDs of the main event. So then once I finished fourth, I got the whole DVD set for 06. I must have watched that at least 8 straight times. And I was so fucking in love with the whole idea of going to Vegas. I was this 18-year-old kid from the Netherlands. And then, your rap and the whole Lissandro clash. You guys were in my opinion, superstars.
And then I bluffed him afterwards. It was
and you were chirping him. And
non-GTO. I had 9-3 offsuit.
Right in his eye.
Now we're playing the game.
Right in his eye.
Now we're playing poker.
Oh, he shows the bluffs.
I used to do stuff like that. I would bluff with just pure garbage. And, nowadays people are like, oh, well, at least wait for 4-5 suited. Or, people have all their frequencies and, at least be suited because you have plenty of suited opportunities to bluff. So you don't need 9 deuce. But, I used to just bluff off feel. I'd be like, the way he raised, the way his hands went in there, and the way his whole vibe, he's just weak. He just doesn't have it. And so I did I used to do that more. Maybe I should get back to that.
I remember watching
re-raise.
those. Lex Veldhouse was the same kind of way.
Oh, for sure.
He went off very much feel, didn't give a fuck about frequencies or hand selection. It was just okay, they're scared of me. They know it, and I'm just going to bluff them right here again and again and again. Now we're playing the game.
That's what Phil Ivey does.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of the greats do. But some of these young guys, they do a little of that, but they're always like, well, I did it because I was blocking backdoor flush draws. Or when poker's gotten so crazy to where one card is blocking a backdoor flush matters. It's wow, people have taken it
No Limit is
to the most detail.
How good are No Limit players now? I mean, you go to your average.
Yeah, they're all studying the software.
Yeah.
Right? It's just, but sometimes when I watch the tournaments, sometimes I can spot the nervousness. Because, no matter how good you are, sometimes when you're bluffing, sometimes it shows. So these guys, they have all the perfect strategies.
Right.
But sometimes when they're bluffing, sometimes you can pick it out.
Is there an extra level of excitement for you when you see through into the soul of one of these GTO wizards?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to just read anyone's soul, really, and make a non-conventional play. A hand you should, if you were a computer, you should probably fold or whatever. Maybe it's not high enough in your range, but if you just know, you know. And that's a beautiful thing in live. And I think for people to get that, they need to just stare at their opponents, even when they're not in the hand, and just learn. Okay, what did they show? How did they look? It's kind of intense. But like if you guys are playing a hand and I'm sitting here looking at you, it's kind of annoying. Like, get off, I'm playing a hand.
Oh, yeah.
Get off me.
I'm trying to think of who. I think like Bryn Kenny, to me, looks so comfortable, even though he was notorious for the online realm, transition now over to the live. But like he is really hard to look at and ever find. Is he nervous when he's bluffing? He's like so chill.
Yeah.
That's tough to play against. Jason Kuhn.
He does a gangster poker sometimes, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he's not like pure GTO all
no,
the time,
man.
right?
He's got some.
He has some feel, right?
For sure.
I like that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I think that Mercer is one of those guys too.
Yeah,
there's a
Jason
lot
was
of
like
feel in
that
there
a lot.
too.
I think that's great. Just old school poker, and that's what I like about Deuce to 7. A lot of it is just do they have it or
It's gangster poker, right? Deuce to 7.
Sometimes someone bets 3 times the pot and you have just a jack, but if you feel like they don't have it, you can just always win with any hand, even set pair 7s sometimes. I've called people with, pair 6s or whatever. And, when they're bluffing. They usually got a big pair, usually 2 pair.
I want to ask you this about, let's get back to weed. Can we talk about drugs?
You can talk about drugs as much as you want.
It's legal.
I know, it is. It's great, isn't it?
We should be smoking in the studio.
I would love to do that. Do you guys mind? Can we spark one in here? Do we have the fire alarms in here yet? Yeah, I mean, that's great.
Should be allowed.
Yeah, hammer it. So you're playing, right? Is this routine? Take a break, you go out, hit the pen, kind of regroup, get the mindset right, or do you lay off getting stoned throughout events?
No, I've been kind of regularly smoking.
Yeah, you have to, right?
I don't have to. I mean, but I'm usually like, I kind of like to smoke regularly, or I just quit altogether.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit too extreme. Like, it's hard for me to be like, let's just do it on the weekends with our friends.
I had a hard time. I was playing my last event, and I was like, "Oh man, my good buddy's got these little edibles, things like that." It's like, should I?
Edibles,
yeah, which is a different sort of thing. But you take little doses,
yeah, get your body.
Yeah, but just to kind of get comfortable, get settled. But and I used to smoke all the time when I play. Chill out at breaks, get my head right, kind of just stay in the zone.
Yeah.
And now, when I did it, I would come back. I was like, okay, I'm high as shit. Looking around like,
yeah.
Did you raise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually gotten like that, and people find it pretty funny. They're like, this guy's been playing for 20 years. He's one of the best players, but he's so high right now. He doesn't know what the blinds are. I'm like, who? It's like stud. I'm like, who is Hayek's first or like whatever? But once they answer the question, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. Wow. Yeah. How did you even get to the weed topic? I love how you just transitioned into the weed.
I can't get the music video out of my mind where it just starts off with him like just sparking a joint, and then of course gets to his wife's ass, and all that's just right there. And I'm just, and I had to get back, and then thinking about you at the final table, I was like, well, he looks pretty stoned. I'm just going to ask if he was kind of high there.
Yeah.
And
I was.
you were right in it. I mean, you were stoned, but in the zone.
Billy Baxter once told me, I went on a break, we were playing some Deuce to 7 game or something, and I went to smoke, and I came back. He said, that weed, Prahlad, that's like cheating.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because he just, sometimes he thinks that, I just hone in, and then just, can just make the perfect play or whatever. And sometimes I feel that way. But I've gone stretches where I was completely sober for a whole year, and I played great poker as well. I'm not really sure which is better or worse, but I enjoy weed. It's legal.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we couldn't talk about it if it wasn't legal.
We sure could.
I'd lose my job.
It's been legal in the Netherlands for like 40 years.
Yeah,
so
you Amsterdam folks.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very progressive.
What percentage of players do you think
that.
are getting stoned regularly at breaks during the World
I think the
Series?
number is much higher among the pros than it is among the amateurs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It is, right?
I'd probably take the over 70%.
What?
Of pros.
That's a massive number.
I look
thinking
around, it's
20,
fucking everybody, man.
For sure.
Oh, you think I'm off?
I think you're off. I think you're way off.
20%.
I'm always optimistic.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 even.
Yeah.
Cash games. You're saying you're not here just to play tournaments. You're also going to play in the cash games. What's the action been like, and what are you looking for? Are you looking for the bigger the better, let's just play, or are you like seeking out your game specifically?
I'm trying to play good games, you know, because there's always big games. There'll always be big games. But if they're not that good, then it might not be worth playing. So now that I can play all the games, yeah, I'm just coming in the poker room. If there's nothing going on, maybe I'll see if there's some kind of tournament. If there's something going, I'll probably just hop in, like whatever's the best game. So it doesn't matter what game it is.
Bellagio, Aria.
Bellagio. I played Aria. I haven't played there at this World Series, but mainly Bellagio. Recently, I've been playing some like 4-800 mix. And there's some cap in there. Before that, I was playing like every player pick their own game, which is kind of fun. That's what we've been doing in LA with the regular players.
Nice.
If you sit down, you can pick your own game, any game.
Okay.
But it has to be big bet.
Was that
Big
listed
bet.
on the Bravo site? Is the Crazy Mike game?
I don't think so.
Or is that a different one? I
No,
just saw something about
this is the game that
we played at Commerce and
Pedro Bromfman. He told me about this game.
Yeah.
He said you guys play all the time, pick
play
your
all
own
the
game.
time, 3-4 times a week over at Commerce. Everyone picks their own game, and I usually pick deuce, sometimes PLO, or if I think people are playing crazy in some other game, I might be like, let's play that. Even though I'm not as good at it, but maybe I feel like my gap is wider in maybe a random game sometimes if people are new to it. But it's pretty fun playing a lot of different games, and some of the games you have to figure out on the fly because like Loy said, let's play triple draw Badesi pot limit.
What?
And I don't even play much Badesi anyway. I mean, I know how to play kind of, but like I don't have everything dialed in on it. And then to play pot limit, you know, it was kind of interesting.
You're a pot limit guy.
Yeah, I like big bet, honestly, but I also now am proficient in the limit games.
Yeah.
And I do take them very seriously. I will make a big fold in limit even. Most guys don't, but I do try to really get in the zone in limit as well. In general, though, you have to call because you're getting such good odds, so sometimes you kind of know your beat and you call or whatever. But I do try to play really hard in limit, and sometimes I'll take my time and try to make a good decision. Some people think limit is all just like auto everything, but you can make good laydowns, you can make good calls or whatever. But I do like the big bet because you can bluff. You know, in limit, it's kind of hard to bluff. You have to build up like maybe a tight image and then come out of nowhere with a check raise. Maybe they'll fold, but it's hard. And if you're in there bluffing a lot, then you'll get looked up a ton because it's limit. But like big bet, it's like when you feel someone's weak, you can pot them. And I just love that. And they'll fold, like if they have nothing. But in limit, sometimes they'll have a little something to hang on with, or look you up with bottom pair, or who knows what.
At this point in your career, would you say you're still a field player at heart, or have you been studying the machines, and are you becoming more of a GTO guy?
Well, I've studied a lot of the GTO stuff, seen a lot of videos, and I try to do a little bit of both, you know. I try to add some of that stuff when I'm unsure what to do, maybe versus a tough player. Maybe I'll go into like a GTO mode, what I think is the perfect play for a computer. But if it's someone that I know how they play, I mean, I'm going to go exploitive every time, and I'm going to bet. I'm gonna bet the number that I know they're going to fold if I'm bluffing. And if I have it, I'm going to bet the maximum I can bet knowing they'll call. So that's all exploitive stuff there. It's great to know your opponents because sometimes you're like, okay, if I bet 2x pot, they'll fold top pair. If I bet pot, they'll call with top pair. You just have like your gauges. So you're like, I should just give up on this bluff right now because if I bet pot, it's honestly, guys, betting pot is useless a lot of the times. It's like they will look you right up. Pots get looked up all the time. I get sick of it. I make a good bluff, bet pot, and they look me right up, and I'm just like, no. Next time, we're going bigger next time. We're going bigger. So I love no limit games, you know. I love no limit games, and I wish that like pot limit Omaha was like no limit on the river. I mean,
oh wow,
it makes sense to
you
me.
are for sure making a run in the main event this year. Mark my words. You're just going to be over betting on day one on giant decisions on the rivers.
I did some over betting in the deuce, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Day 5, guaranteed.
My wife has predicted that I win the main. So
oh my God, it'd be
she predicted our daughter's birth too. It was like a week and a half ahead of like the scheduled. She just said it's going to be June 28th. Boom, it was June 28th. Now she's saying, I'm going to win the main event.
And that was the specific event, that one, the main. That's yours this year.
Well, she's just a predictor.
Can you ask her?
She predicted our daughter, and so now she's predicting the main event. She'll be 2-0.
I mean, I'm ready.
Could
for
you
this.
please ask her if I could just get
Make
third?
a run? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take
I'll
third.
see how
I don't even want
Can you help
second.
my buddy
No,
out.
I just
give me
want to.
Got
third.
the champion hoodie.
Yeah, please.
I just want
you
to
know.
find a buy-in.
Are you getting free hoodies?
I want free hoodies. That's why I'm doing this. I bought last year before the main. I actually bought 5 champion hoodies because I loved them. Champion's back. They made a big run like the last couple years.
Yeah.
I love Champion. I love the brand. I got this. Got a black zip-up one, a gray one. Fuck, I love
those
this one
hoodies
right
are
here.
in the mail after all that.
Yeah,
I know,
love
for sure.
Champion.
Yeah.
They're back.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's right.
Yeah.
Is this where I do my mayonnaise plug?
Please,
I'm
God,
trying to get a mayonnaise sponsor. Are you a mayonnaise
Man-
guy?
Mayonnaise.
He's vegan.
Oh, I'm vegan.
Yeah,
but
but
vegan mayonnaise,
they make-
yeah, I do enjoy. Yes,
Vegan
I like
mayonnaise.
Vegan
He enjoys
mayonnaise.
vegan mayonnaise.
They make-
Veganese, they call
Veganese.
it.
Okay, all right. Maybe I would enjoy Veganese. I actually don't.
I think you
I'm
would
okay
enjoy
with
a
mayo.
a nice vegan meal.
Oh,
I
for
He
think
sure.
does
you
the
would.
worst. I think I would. I had some at a wedding.
Violet's Vegan. Have you heard of it?
Oh, Cindy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should try the burrito.
I
there.
usually go to the pizza place right next door.
try
Next
the
to Cindy's.
burrito one time. Go in there.
Yeah,
try
for
the
sure.
burrito. It's super good.
Definitely not against vegan food.
Whenever anyone sees it in the
Yeah.
poker room, they're like, "What is that?" And they're just all meat eaters. What is that?
I had the Fat Burger
They're interested.
vegan meal.
Oh,
They make a vegan burger.
like the Impossible
You tried
Burger?
it?
I think. Yeah. Oh, I ate the whole thing. It was
Wow.
great.
Were you
I bought
writing
it.
an article
Daniel
or
had
something
me
about it?
take a bite. When he was playing a cash game for a Dolly's game or something.
Uh-huh.
And so I tried it, took a bite. It's like, God damn, that's good. So I picked one up on my way home that night.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can get regular French fries. So
Look at you.
you know,
You're
I'm-
still good.
Trust me, I'm
Venturing
a fat
out.
vegan. There's a lot of fat vegans though. 'Cause you can eat like
happens.
shit.
Yeah, if you eat like potato chips, and
Oreos.
pizza crust, and pastas.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all, just
That's what I
do
would
it and
do.
Just never
A
work
lot of
out.
carbs. A lot of carbs.
Oh, I haven't worked out in a decade.
Vegetables and fruits.
I'm definitely on the health kick, but I gotta have my chicken in there, my meats, my beefs. I love my steaks. But yeah,
I've never had a steak. Can you believe that?
You've never had a steak?
When I was 8 years old,
How
I had
mu-
meat for 1 week in my life.
Yeah.
My grandparents were like, "Oh, it's Thanksgiving. Try some." And when you're 8, like people can probably get you to do anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right." So for 1 week, I tried everything. I loved almost everything. I loved the taste. I was like, "Oh, this is why." But then I got sick, kind of pretty bad. Not super bad, but I got kind of sick, and then I felt guilty, and I never ate it again after that.
How much money would someone have to pay you to eat a steak?
Yeah, that would be like it would. I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
He
Couldn't
puts-
imagine a number even. I mean, I guess maybe if it was so huge, I'd be like, I would have to donate like most all of it to something.
But like
or I
100K
don't-
wouldn't be enough.
No. I've been offered like a lot of money to eat things. Phil Locke's always like teasing me, saying, "I'll give you 25K to de-veganize you or something."
I would eat anything for 100,000. Somewhere in here there was a jar with like a scorpion in it. I would drink the whole thing for 100,000 and eat the scorpion and crunch on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of the steaks, you're a big mayonnaise guy
Oh, yeah.
on the steak.
Oh, huge.
So imagine that. Not only is it the steak, but you got to smother it with real mayo.
Not smothering.
And
He
butter,
still
too,
he talks it up. Well, no, I mean, of course you got to
Butter,
baste it,
man.
baste it with butter in the pan, and then the mayo comes on the side. You dip it in it. The mayo debate will never end. Team Mayo is going really strong on Twitter, by the way.
Mayo-gate.
Let's get through some business here on the podcast before we dive into some fun stuff here at the end of the show. I just want to mention that the marathon event, after 4.5 weeks, finally ended. Roman Kornev won the tournament for $477K, and then a massive winner, Michael Mizrachi, getting his 5th bracelet, winning the Stud 8 event. Brent, this guy, and we joke about it a lot, seemingly, from a fundamental perspective, is the second best Mizrachi brother. However, he's doing laps around Rob when it comes to actual wins.
Yeah, it makes me sick to my stomach as well. Very similar to the mayo topic. I mean, Robert, please pick it up. You're on the fantasy team. We really need you to be winning the bracelets, not your brother Michael. He has enough. It's your time, Robert. Let's go.
Mizrachi wins this bracelet for 142K. Steven Song winning the 1K no limit for 341K. Then we had Greg Mueller winning the 10K horse. That was an epic final table, which is available on PokerGo. So if you want to rewatch that, work on your stud game, work on your Raz, whatever you want to sort of work on from the mixed game perspective, that final table is really fun because Greg Mueller put on a clinic. He beat Dario Sammartino and Scott Clemens three-handed. It was a really fun final table to watch, and I think that a lot of people can learn a lot from Mr. Mueller, FBT. just an incredible final table. He called out Sammartino's hand exactly in a hand of limit hold'em. That sort of made me think of you as well. Just that sort of feeling of like, you have Queen 8, which was a gut shot in this limit hold'em hand. He called it out, and he was right, and he doubled up through Dario with bottom pair.
And of course, with a hand that Sammartino has, like Queen 8, you still have.
Oh my God. That may be one of the spookiest things I've ever seen Greg Mueller do.
That sort of shit's just what I love about poker, is when those live soul reads just like come through, calling out the cards exactly.
Yeah, and sometimes we throw out a lot of guesses too, and sometimes you can really guess a bunch of them right, and then sometimes you're wrong, but yeah, these are guesses based on his experience playing for so many years in poker, so many different betting patterns and timing tells, or body language, and they're just like, sometimes you can pin someone right on a hand.
Is Greg playing? He's in the LA cash game scene, right?
I think
he's still out there grinding.
I think this is what Greg does. He goes hard for 7 weeks, and then he just chills up in BC for the rest of the year.
Okay, what a life.
Pretty smart. Pretty smart. A few more winners here. Luis Zidane wins the 1K PLO for 236K. PLO fields have been massive this summer. I really think that this might be the game of the future. Who knows? Thomas Kazayus winning the 3K 6 max. Shout out to Angel Guillen making the final table of that event for 441K. Robert Campbell, who we almost drafted for fantasy, now has 3 final tables, and he won his first bracelet in the $1,500 deuce to 7 triple draw for 144K. And then Adam Friedman winning the 10K Dealer's Choice back-to-back years. He now has 2 titles in the same event, 312K, beating Shaun Deeb heads up, Matt Glantz finishing in 3rd place. First of all, same last name, so you got to respect that.
Holla Friedman.
Second of all, you must have played with him as well, because you guys mix it up in those games.
I played with him, not that much in cash games, but I played with him in the 10K Player's Choice, the one he just won back-to-back. He was sitting to my left, and he was just had a tremendous amount of energy. Like, he was just, he's talking about every hand. Oh, you did that. Oh my God. He has so much energy, and it's pretty amazing to watch. And Alan Kessler was at our table, and he was just going after him, and Alan is just like... he never fired anything back. It was unbelievable. He just took all the blows.
Back-to-back years. That's a remarkably challenging event.
20 games.
He likes that Badoosie.
That's his stuff?
The deuce to 7, no qualifier.
Wow.
That's what everyone was picking just over and over.
Oh, my God. I just had a memory. Isn't Adam Friedman the one that when he busted the main event years ago that he said he played perfect poker
started crying.
And he was devastated? He cried?
It was the 06 main event. It was the same
That was that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was like day 5 of the main event, and I think it was flush over flush. This is off the top of my head, so this might be wrong.
Yeah.
Flush over flush.
Okay.
He called all in for his tournament life. I want to say with the queen high flush. The guy had ace high flush. And he stood up, put his hands in front of his eyes, and he goes, I played perfect poker for 5 days. And like he's just like getting emotional.
Oh,
and stuff.
yeah, I remember this now.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about!
You can make one bad mistake. Horrible play. I played perfect for 3 days. I play so good for 3 days.
Okay, yeah, well,
Poker is emotional.
Yeah.
It can be. It's like you got your whole life in it. It's you're fighting for food, for rent, for your family.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like sometimes when you just play your best and lose, it's like it hurts.
Did you punch any walls or kick any tables after busting the main in 06?
No, I never got crazy after the main. I think online poker, I've broken some mouses and threw some mice at the screen, and yeah, maybe I punched a wall then. Online poker, I don't know. And also, if you have a friend watching you, you go more nuts.
Yeah.
It's like a psychology of it. If you're by yourself, you're just like, you might throw something, a little something, but when you got a friend there, you're just like, can you believe this? This is unfucking believable. You know how you just want your friend to be like, it's all right.
Toss.
You want your buddy to be like, it's all right. You'll get it back. You're the best. The things I've been wanting to hear for the last 20-something years,
Oh, fuck.
The people around me, I'm always like, when I'm running bad, just tell me. You're the best. You'll get it back. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's one long game. Like, I know this stuff, but I still need to hear it because I forget. Sometimes I'm like, wow, poker's horrible.
have you ever like thrown chips in a live setting? Have you ever like knocked someone's stack over or something?
No. I don't go that far.
Pretty composed?
I try to take my losses. Sometimes I whine like a little bit here and there, but when I win though, especially, I'm real nice.
Oh, real nice. So you're a great winner and you're a quiet
online
loser?
Even when I used to talk a lot of trash, when I was winning, I wouldn't say anything. But when I was losing, I'd be like, "You guys are the worst." I don't really do that. You guys are the worst thing anymore. I took that out of my. I don't like doing that. Maybe if someone really ticks me off, maybe I would say something mean to them. Like if I've got into it with some poker players before, where they tried to shoot an angle or something, and then you get into a yelling match. And man, I had a guy. I don't want to say who it is, but he said he would, if I came to his house, he would shoot me dead.
Shoot you dead?
I mean, one guy wanted to take your head off.
Yeah, I'll rip your head off, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was almost in tears because like I'm very sensitive about guns. I'm like against guns. And recently there was all these like school shootings, and there was a shooting close to our house, and I was just like already emotional about guns and how it's like what's going on with America with guns.
Yeah.
And then I had this guy. What happened is it was a 5-card game. I got dealt 6 cards in the small blind. And one guy folded. It was like shorthanded. One guy folded, and then I looked down. I said, "I have 6 cards," and then we just decided that it was going to be a misdeal. And then he was like, "Let me see that hand." He flips it up, and it wasn't a very good hand. And I said, "What does it matter?" And he thought it was an angle. He thought I pulled an angle.
Even though you got dealt,
I got dealt 6 cards.
Somehow you're angling.
And I also do something which some poker players don't like. I usually wait till it's on me. So it's an old thing from. And some people complain. They're like, when you got 4 or 5 cards, you should look right away, keep the speed of the game. But I still like to do it because I like to make my reads before I look at my hand for some reason. And so even if it's a 5-card game, I'll be looking, then I'll look, and then I'll act. So that's exactly what happened. I didn't know what I had at all. I look, I have 6 cards, I announce it, and then he got all mad. And it turned into like he kept saying I was a cheater shooting an angle. And then I was like, "Look, I will punch you in your face." Because I was just like, you're calling me a cheater over and over again. I'm a guy that's been cheated like by so much in my life. I'm just like, when one man is just saying that to you, sometimes you just want to be like, "I'll punch you in your face." And then he obviously didn't like that, felt like maybe I would beat him up, which I was never going to, but I was just mad. And then it turned into gun talk.
So you're going to punch him, and he says, "I'm going to shoot you in the face."
Then it turned into, I'm very good with my gun. I practice with it.
Ooh.
And if you come to my house, I will shoot you. And I like almost was crying. I was like, he just said, I was like shocked. And then I started like making a scene. I was like, this guy just threatened to shoot me. And everyone's looking like, what? Everyone's like, uh-oh.
Dude, that is
crazy.
Intense. Dark.
Yeah, it was very intense. And we actually made up just because I see the guy in the poker room, and yeah, maybe he wants me dead, but
oh no, that seems. I'm trying to figure out the angle there. What's the fucking angle though?
Here's
you
what
had,
it
like,
is.
A bad hand.
Was
and you just wanted
the guy. He was a little smaller than me, and I think I maybe said something about jujitsu. I don't know what maybe some shit I.
You
taught.
need a little bit.
I practiced some jujitsu, and I was just like, "Look, buddy, I'll punch you in your face." I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
shouldn't say that to people. But I was upset at the time. I said it. And then he felt like probably I can't do anything back. I can't re-raise, He's a poker player, right? So all I got is I got to say something about a gun, and it did scare the shit out of me.
I mean, it is disgusting.
Yeah. So he was afraid that I'm going to, like, really jump him or beat him up, which I wasn't going to do. And so he's just thinking, look, I got a gun. Let me know. You try to jump me, like, I'm going to shoot you dead or whatever. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And then we made up like a couple days later.
You guys are good now?
Yeah, we're good now.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
And also,
he probably still has a gun and he's still ready to use it, but hopefully not against me. We're good.
At least we got to give a shout out to Dan Harrington for Harrington on Hold'em, where it was specifically phrased, "Don't look at your cards until it's your turn." So thanks, Dan, for causing the scene, because that's the only reason that this happened.
Almost got our guy shot.
That's right.
Jesus, yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, a few more results here, and I want to rush through these because we have some fun stuff to get to.
More World Series results,
dude. The World Series book has 90 events. It's unbelievable.
Well, let's cover them all.
You can get caught up. You can get caught up with Phil Hellmuth one summer.
Carry on.
David Lambert wins the 3K shootout on PokerGo for $207K.
I know that guy.
You do know the guy?
I mean, not real well, but I've seen him around, and good for him on that
He's
win.
an LA cash game grinder, right?
Yeah,
I read
I've seen him around there, yeah.
That was a really tough final table. Justin Bonomo was the first one to get knocked out. Lucky Chewy also at that final table. And then Upeshka da Silva wins the online event to take the POY lead, Brent Hanks. And that's why I'm going to transition like a true professional to you, because the POY and the power ranking sort of tied together. So if you don't mind,
okay,
let's start POY and then make our way into the ranks.
Wait, you want me to go to the rankings or to the WSOP Player of the Year?
Let's do Player of the Year first.
Okay, hold on. Let me pull up my notes.
Because
here's how professional I am. Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, okay, go.
Okay, number 1, Peshka, as you mentioned. Number 2, our guy, and you got to love this guy, Dan Zach. Do you know Dan Zach?
I know Dan Zach.
What a class act he is. Young phenom.
He's a great player, yeah.
Do you know his online handle?
I don't.
See? Nobody fucking knows his online handle. That guy
I haven't
never
played
revealed
online
it.
in so long, too.
Also, Brent, before you continue,
what?
Upeshka now has 6 caches, 2 final tables. Dan Zach has 8 caches, and of course, only the 1 win.
I don't have all these stats loaded. I just have 1 through 10.
I thought you were prepared.
No, I mean, I didn't know I was doing this.
Oh, well, in that case, Scott Clements in 3rd place.
Can I keep going?
You can keep going.
Yeah, Scott Clements.
Okay,
I mean, speaking of wine, I don't think we've talked about wine, but let's talk about it now. That motherfucker can put it down.
Oh my
That's
God.
why I love Scott Clements. I don't know if it's a good thing, it's a bad thing, but hey, it's working in the moment. He's my prediction, if we can do that right now, to run away with this thing as Player of the Year. Number 4, Robert Campbell, the Aussie, who we did not draft, and you always point that out. Wish we had Robert. Son of a bitch. We blew it there. He's number 4. The scientist, Daniel Strelitz, he comes in at number 5, WSOP Player of the Year. Steven Song, number 6. We already mentioned him.
Yep.
He's an up-and-comer. I think he's an East Coast kid. He's been grinding the circuit, smaller stakes. Now he's just kind of crushing these no-limit events. Number 7, not familiar with John Gorsuch.
His nickname is Texas. He is a huge Cowboys fan.
All right.
And he won the Millie Maker for $1.3 million.
That's him. He's the Millie Maker guy.
Yep.
Okay, John Gorsuch. Very nice. This guy I am familiar with. Number 8 is Shaun Deeb. Of course, last year's WSOP Player of the Year. Clearly one of the favorites at this point to go ahead and win this thing back-to-back.
Does he slow roll everybody?
Everybody.
That's his thing.
Yeah.
Because he was joking at the 10K Player's Choice. He was saying, oh, I never slow rolled Prahlad. And I was just like, oh, that's what we're doing.
You guys have a little beef, or you guys are good?
We have
You're
no
good.
beef. He's never slow rolled me. But I was just like, okay.
So you should slow roll him
That's what you
first.
do.
Catch him off guard.
I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of slow rolling.
I feel like with Shaun Deeb, it's open season. You can slow roll him.
I'm sure, yeah.
He likes that stuff.
Yeah, because if he's doing it to people, I guess
yeah,
he's
I
gotta
think he
take
expects
back.
it. Okay, let me finish this off. Number 9, Frankie Odell. The only thing he plays are 08 events, and he wins every single one of them.
He's been playing those for 20 years. Right?
Fucking legend, this guy.
When I first started playing poker, I think he was playing tournaments.
Yeah, he's incredible. Frankie Odell, number 9. And, of course, number 10 is Yuval Bronstein, or Bronstein?
Bronstein, I think.
Bronstein. I think I said it right the first time. Yeah, he rounds out the top 10.
Quite a bit of movement, I should say. Upeshka jumping into number 1 here. And then, of course, the 2 guys that are going to be real contenders here as well, along with Daniel Zach, Scott Clements and Shaun Deeb. So I think those names are going to stay in the top 10. Let's pivot into the last segment here on the podcast. Actually, 2 segments. First of all, you've played poker for so long now. You've come across so many characters, both online and live. I want to know who the best 5 players in that period of time have been that you've ever faced, no matter what the format or the situation. I'm just curious which 5 names come to mind.
I think John Hennigan.
Johnny World.
There's one. I love that pick.
He plays me super well, too. Like, must have some reads on me or tells or something. But I've gone times where I didn't snow at all day or for 2-3 days. I just didn't get snow hands, and maybe I was like, I'm not going to snow that much because Hennigan's at the table. But then I'll slip in a snow, and he'll just catch it, with nothing, just call like I called with pair of 4s. So, me calling with a pair of 4s comes back from other guys calling me with hands like that.
I love that. Hennigan I think Hennigan is still underrated. Like, no matter how much he does, people still don't really know what kind of an animal he really is.
You know how fast he plays? He's the fastest player in the world. When he's in a cash game, he instantly will pat behind with a pair of 8s in his hand, like in deuce to 7 triple draw or something, and then you'll check. He'll bet. He'll instantly bet, and then he'll flash you the 8s or something. Like, he does everything so quick. Bluffs. He'll bluff all in super quick. One time I was snowing with 3 9s in single draw. I re-raised. I squeezed right? And I had 3 9s, and then first guy checked, so I bet through with my 3 9s trying to win a snow, and he instantly moved all in for like 80K or something. And okay, I fold. I have 3 9s. I think I showed it, was laughing, and he ended up telling me that he made a pair of 8s. And he's a very honest guy. Like him and Huck, like in the past, have bet against themselves playing golf. This is how honest these guys are.
What?
Yeah, they've had matches where they played each other, and they're like, I don't think I can beat you today. And the other guy's like, I think you can beat me. And they'll make a $10,000 bet on it.
That's amazing.
That
is the mind games.
Next level betting right there.
That just shows you these guys are super intellectual, and they're super honest.
Yeah.
And they can make bets like that. And I think there's a story of Huck lining up, taking a super long time to line up a putt against himself, and then he hits it or something from super far away. You know what I mean? And he loses.
Holy shit.
You know what I mean? Like these the rule is you got to try your absolute hardest, like as if you're trying to win the money. But if you win, you lose.
That's so messed up.
So you're sitting there.
I couldn't do that.
You're sitting there swinging. And you're just like, I could just whiff the ball right now.
Easy to lock this bet up, and these
guys are super
that's
honest.
incredible.
They trust each other. So I would say Huck Seed is another guy.
There's two. So we got Johnny World, we got Huck Seed.
I learned a tremendous. I actually picked up overbetting from Huck. He didn't do it like with the propensity that I did it later, but I remember one time the pot was like $500 and the flop was like 10 deuce, and he just bet 2,000. I'd never seen that before. You know, it's not that big a pot, 500, and he just bets 2,000, and I'm thinking, why? Like, why is he doing that? And you know, it has its purpose. Like, it would come 10 deuce, and someone for 2,000 will fold a pair of 8s even.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
But nowadays, maybe people would call with a pair of 8s for 2K. I'm not sure. If you're doing it all the time, maybe they would start to call you with the 8s there. But back then, you could just do a play like that and just get people to fold everything but a 10. So some of these overbets would just filter out so many hands, and if they called you, you kind of knew what they had. They had a 10. And so now you incorporate flopping a full house with the overbet, getting action only from a 10, and then you win like a pot that's way bigger than normal. So I took that from Huck, that one play I saw, and I just started going crazy with it, doing it, and I would go 3x, 4x, 5x. I kept pushing the limits. How many X can I do? You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And the computers, like the computer that played and beat the pros or whatever, I guess it was doing like 20x sometimes.
Liberatus or whatever.
Wasn't it doing 10x? And I think it was doing some crazy high bets. But if you can balance it, which is hard for a human, but back then I had the exploitative feel of when to do a huge bet. Like I had such a good feel of when they had a really good hand. If you really feel someone has a good hand, like bet a lot of money. Don't bet like that's exploitive, right? Like don't try to be balanced. Sometimes you're just playing a bad player. You know he's got a big hand, so you don't need to balance all your hands and bet 70% like you would with all of your bluffs.
Yeah, right.
Just
get after it, man.
Just go 3-4x.
Yeah,
go all in.
Yeah.
And then they flopped a flush too. They're in. They call. They're in.
That's perfect.
So you win more money.
These are two names, by the way, already that I
know.
That two stories, right? We got an Ivy one and then a Huck Seed story.
Yeah.
God damn, Prahlad, you got some.
I played
some good
Phil Ivey
stuff.
quite a bit. We used to play like 4 games ahead up. We would transfer money back and forth. I think we played a fair amount, and I recall breaking about even. And
nice.
But it was a tough battle, and people like to watch that.
Is he in your top 5? We got Hannigan, we got Seed.
So we got so there's Hannigan, Huck, and then we right to Phil Ivey.
Phil Ivey, probably like a Jungle Man.
Oh yeah.
Dan Cates. This is an awesome fucking top 5.
Ike Caxton.
You got okay. There's Ike. So there's your top 5. Those are the top 5 players you've played against. Heads up.
I haven't
or
played.
Whatever format.
I know like True Teller is like an amazing player.
Kuznetsov.
I haven't played with them probably that much to say like to put him in there.
Yeah, you've heard.
I've heard that he's like maybe the best or one of the best. Let me think. Who else can I think of?
That's a list of 5, though.
Yeah, that's a good list.
We got there. We got there.
Solid list.
All right, then the fun game to close out this podcast
called Too Many Questions.
Too Many Questions.
Too Many Questions.
Just coined by Brent Hanks.
Yeah.
Too many questions. Pick a number between 1 and 555. I'll look it up in my Excel sheet, and we'll go to town.
444.
444. I was very close to that already somehow. On the
I
list.
hope this is something very sexual and weird.
All right. Yeah,
Can I pre-swallow? Because if it's a crazy question and I swallow, they're gonna know the answer.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me. I might have to go into like.
Don't give anything away here. Yeah, don't give anything away. There we go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very smart. Good choice. Good choice. This question actually is probably going to have a good answer. What's the most expensive purchase you've ever made for yourself?
Okay. I come out of the shell.
That's not weird.
It's not too crazy.
Not too crazy.
It was a giant dildo. No. I bought a Tesla. It was the 90D, and I never really splurged. I've always been a little bit more minimalistic, even when I had a lot of money. But they had a vegan version finally. Now they're saying all the cars are going to be vegan. I guess they're going to make now the ones they're making. They're going to have no leather parts at all. That's awesome. But I finally made that big purchase after working super hard in poker, and I was
good for you, man. That's awesome.
Get a nice car. Also, it's electric, so I think it's good for the environment. A lot of countries are going to be all electric in 10 years.
There's a lyric in that Ducati song too about your Tesla too.
I throw the little Tesla.
Oh yeah, I remember
there.
that. Oh yeah,
the materialism.
You're tapping into the main vein with that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I listen to a lot of the top songs. Just like I'm learning a new poker game.
Yeah.
And I'm listening. Why are these songs popular? And it's just like learning a new poker game. You can hear what's popular, the amount of auto-tune you need to use, or what kind of beats you need to use. I feel like I have a good understanding of what can be popular. I think if a record label were to hire my wife and I to like run a big label, I think we'd do a great job. I think we're very good at like putting together songs, taking talent, and making great songs. So I think you'll hear a lot of music from us in the future, whether we're working with other artists or our own stuff.
I love it. All right, give me another number.
222.
I like
deuce,
this.
Deuce. I hate the word two. I can't believe I said two 3 times. Nobody say two out there. I hate the word two.
Mallard.
The old school players say deuce. And when I hear someone walking down the hall say, I had king 2 and it came 2-2, I'm just like, it just irks me.
What about tray or 3? Trays.
I interchange with that one. I
okay,
guess.
so the deuces is the one you're stuck on. That's an important
is
one.
the most important.
This question that I'm about to ask you now could result in an 18-minute answer. So I'm a little concerned about this question.
Oh boy, this sounds deep. And here goes the hood.
Yeah, it's
back in the shell.
It's a deep one. It's a deep one. Do you believe in extra? Wow, I can't even say this word. Extraterrestrial life. Elaborate on why or why not.
Yeah, I do. Why not? I think probably the government knows about something.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
I love it.
I think so.
Yes, please.
I think they cover up things because they don't want people to freak out. Maybe mass hysteria.
We're close to Area 51 right here, so.
I think just this, so many stars. So there's so much. We're just like probably this much in the universe, and come on.
I mean, Andrew Lichtenberger said that an alien visited him.
Oh my God!
I'm not kidding, but he and he said he was like
on
vivid.
LSD?
No, I think he had an interaction with an alien, and it was on Twitter. He wrote about it. Maybe our production team could find that deep, but he talked about visiting an encounter with an alien, and he kind of got into details, but then he stopped. I think he was going to talk about it in person. And,
was it Jared Jaffe that he ran into? Or?
No, it could. It's funny.
That's
Jared
crazy.
Jaffe just messaged me, so maybe it was Jared. Maybe he's an alien. He's ready for this.
All right, give me
universe.
I believe that's possible.
Yeah.
Maybe it did happen to him. Yeah, honestly, I just think there's got to be something.
There's too much out there for it not to be true, right?
And maybe they visited it at one point, or you never know.
I think they might be living among us.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. All right, final number. Let's go.
Okay, 128.
128. All right.
What's why 128?
I don't know. I'm a random question.
28 was the June thing. I was trying to. Okay.
Wow. This question is so. This question is so boring because we talked about it so much on the show. It's about have you been on a serious diet and stuck to it? I mean, you're a vegan. We talked about this so much.
Vegan.
So you get a respect.
You get
all
a
organic,
respect.
all vegan diet, and that's. I've been doing that for long time.
We'll
15 years.
I'll get you a smoker for your anniversary.
Yeah, so smoke vegetables.
thanks.
Well, let's do a respin because this question is too boring. Let's give it one more.
Okay, 248.
248. All right, let's have a look. See what is out there. Out of the negative,
The crazy question.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
out of the negative emotions of greed, anger, jealousy, and hate, which one would you say affects you the most?
Greed, jealousy, anger, and hate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit. I mean, how deep are these?
This is very deep. It's extremely deep.
Maybe jealousy.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There was a very famous person that just recently DM'd my wife, and I guess I won't say who it is. But they're like one of the biggest.
Dude, you should out this person right now so it never happens again.
They're trying to break up a family.
Yeah.
This man is trying to destroy our family.
Now, I'm going to keep poking here. Like, athlete or celebrity?
Music? Was it music?
I'll go with a music artist.
Music
there we
artist.
go.
One of the biggest.
It was Kanye. It was Kanye.
One of the biggest there is.
We'll go hip-hop,
Kanye.
clearly.
We'll go Kanye.
Holy shit.
Kanye West, why did you...
Kanye, it wasn't Kanye because he's was
married.
a single guy.
Oh, single guy.
I won't say who it is. I don't want to say who it is, but I saw the DM.
Yeah.
It's there. It said like you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And so I was like, I didn't know how to feel about it. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna leave me for this guy.
Right.
This guy's super rich, super famous, flies around on jets nonstop, makes hits.
Bro, that's heavy
every
shit.
day. Yeah.
That's crazy.
My.
And she told me right away.
Huh.
She sent me a screenshot of it, and she said she was a little bit excited, like, guess who DM'd me? So then I got a little bit, my ego got a little like, I was like, part of me was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. Like my girl's getting hit on by these big artists. Like,
Kind of a compliment.
Yeah, it is. But then I was like, but wait, why are you so excited about it? Like, why are you so excited?
Well,
like,
maybe it's
you're gonna
kind
tell
of
everyone.
It's a
we're
way
married
up.
with a kid.
It's a way up, maybe, through the industry. Maybe you just build a friendship there and be like, bro, it's my fucking wife, like lay off. But hey, let's work on some music. I bet it's not R. Kelly.
I think it's Childish Gambino.
No way.
With after that DM, it's gonna be sexual.
Oh, for sure.
R. Kelly, it can't be because you would have said that, and
Oh my God.
not the right age. So
Yeah, no, it wasn't R. Kelly. I did watch that documentary.
Oh, fucked
that's
up
crazy.
stuff.
I watched the Michael Jackson documentary.
Oh, fucked up stuff.
I was at a poker table the other day, and a guy was like, "Hey, have you guys seen the Michael Jackson show?" And the guy in seat 5 was like, "Michael Jackson."
Oh, dude.
Like that's what it's come to.
Yeah.
Like he's no longer
That's probably a good thing.
I don't like to listen
Dude,
to
that
it.
doc was messed up.
No, but I saw the interviews with those kids.
The brother, or not the brothers, but
They
the
were boys back then,
Yeah.
and it's just if you play poker and you watch it and you really there's no bluff there.
Right,
Yeah.
that's real. Yeah,
That's the best acting I've ever seen.
Right.
If it was conjured up, I just believe it. And it's sad, because he was an unbelievable musician, and it is sad.
Yeah.
But,
Wow.
hey, everyone can be a monster, maybe.
What a crazy note to end this podcast.
Oh yeah, sorry guys.
Jeez.
Yo.
let's
Pedophilia.
all right. Well, at least we got a title. For Prahlad Friedman and pedophilia. We got a title for the show. Jesus Christ!
Unbelievable.
But honestly, what a great. Too many questions actually turned into a banger.
Oh my God, we have
Holy shit!
like this. The funny thing about this list is I don't even know what's in it. So we're always surprised by some of the randomness
That's
of this.
the point.
That's the point of the show. And I
Yeah.
love it. Too many questions. It's a great segment. Anyway, real briefly, what's next? Are you going to play the 50K? Can we expect to see you in some more events before the main event? What are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to just winning at anything, like cash game, tournament. I'm just trying to get the money right now. It's cool though to hear people talking about me again, like after making the final table, and maybe I'll play the 25K PLO and maybe the 50K as well. That'd be cool if I made some runs in that. But I'm just looking forward to just playing my best wherever I am. Cash game, tournament. I just want to play my best. I want to take every hand super seriously and just play the best I can.
I see this as an open opportunity and an invite I'm going to extend you. We're going to be having Poker After Dark at the end of July-ish, somewhere in there. It's shots fired week, meaning these are guys that are typically, jabbing back and forth. I'm trying to get, and I'm going to need your help here because I need Daniel Negreanu and this guy Johnny Vibes. You know Johnny Vibes?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Stories.
Plays live at the bar.
Those two are unwilling at this point or unavailable at this point to play in the lineup. I want to get you in there to play.
And Lysandro.
And oh god, I'd love to get Freddie in there. Could you imagine? Or yeah,
that'd be so fun.
It's just incredible. but I think again, I'll get your number. We got to get you on Poker After Dark in July. If you can do it, that'd be great. Play some No Limit.
That, yeah.
Be sick, man. Yeah,
What's
we got to get you
on
there. Maybe 50, 100, maybe 25, 50. I don't want it to be so big that people are kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if Daniel plays, that means we're going to get Doug Polk, and those guys fucking go at it,
Yeah, I would love to
it's
play.
that could be a fun time.
Going to be a good time.
Yeah.
So, if you want to watch any of that and the entire library of content on PokerGo, you got to subscribe. So use the promo code podcast for the annual subscription, and that way you also get to watch this podcast every single week as we have, as you can see right here, the biggest guest in the world of poker on the show. Prahlad, once again, thank you for joining us. Brent, whatever.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for much more.
Thanks so much.
And we'll be back
Thanks
next
for
week
watching, guys.
with a new guest. This was the Poker Central Podcast.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Ciao.